Hello, my fellow odd ones. It's Thursday. Welcome back to your weekly weird distraction. If you're new here, I'm Rhonda, and this is where I talk about weird random stuff that I find funny or otherwise highly entertaining. If that sounds right up your alley, then stay tuned. If you were here last week, I talked about the secret society of the Knights Templar, which turned out not to be such a secret anyway. This week, I'm going to be making cream cheese cookies and talking about another secret society that may or may not have ties to the Illuminati. They don't. Warning, the following video contains references to conspiracy theories, secret societies, death, war, sex, and as always, plenty of sarcasm. Content may not be suitable for all audiences, and viewer discretion is advised. So your quick recap. Secret societies, been around throughout history. Some say founding fathers, British royals, been asked to join groups like the Knights Templar, the Freemasons, the Bavarian Illuminati, Skull and Bones, and Bilderberg. I got butter on my thumb. Secret societies are part mystery and part legend. Conspiracy theories have been around secret societies as long as secret societies have been around, and they have linked groups like the Illuminati to everything from the French Revolution to the assassination of JFK. Today, we're going to be talking about Skull and Bones, also known as the Order 322, or the Brotherhood of Death. This is an order that was founded as a secret society at Yale University in 1832. Members are known as bonesmen, members of the order, or initiated to the order. It was founded by William Huntington Russell and was said to have been formed and inspired by an occult society that he visited in Germany. Other rumors are that it was started after an election dispute with Phi Beta Kappa. You know, like maybe old Will was rejected from Phi Beta Kappa and he didn't get into that fraternity and he was mad and he was like, yeah, I'll show you. I'll just start my own secret society. Originally, it was supposed to be known as the Eulogian Club, named after the goddess of eloquence, Eulogia. The co-founder was Alphonso Taft, who was the Secretary of War for President Grant and also the father of President William Howard Taft. The society was incorporated into the Russell Trust Association in 1856. So the emblem for this society is a skull with two crossbones underneath it, and then the number 322 underneath that. It is said that the number was taken to refer to the year 322 BC with the death of a Greek orator, Demosthenes. Say that with a lisp 3 times fast. Or it could be 322, the year of Alexander the Great. Another story is that it is a reminder of the society's organization in Germany, with America being the second chapter, formed in 1832, 32-2, 322. It's also rumored that the society counts years from the starting of 322. These are all rumors. We don't know if they're true. It's a secret. The clubhouse where the group meets is a brownstone off of the campus of Yale and has no windows. It is referred to as the Tomb. It was originally built in 1856, 25 years after the society was formed and the same time that it went into the Russell Trust Association. It is said that members put up the money, forming a corporation and then commissioning a clubhouse to be built. Other Yale societies would follow this same pattern. The tomb was remodeled and doubled in size in 1903 and has been further enlarged since then. No liquor is allowed inside the tomb, and members are sworn to secrecy about the society. It really is a real life fight club where even graduate members don't say a word. Rumor is they actually leave the room if you bring up Skull and Bones. And while there are many rumors about what happens inside the tomb, you will not get confirmation or denial. One rumor is, upon joining Skull and Bones, members are given $15,000 and guaranteed financial security for life. Sounds awesome. Again, no one will confirm or deny, because first rule. So I added the sugar. Now I'm back. Another rumor about Skull and Bones is that they stole the skull of Apache leader Geronimo and they keep it in the tomb among the other relics. It is further rumored that they have also stolen the skulls of Martin Van Buren and Pancho Villa. These are rumors that come from other societies. Pretty sure they're valid. You should believe them all. In the case of the skull of Geronimo, the rumor is that Prescott Bush, who is the father of George H.W. Bush, stole the skull and 2 bones when he broke into Geronimo's grave during World War I. This led to Geronimo's descendants charging the society with theft in 2009 and demanding the skull and bones be returned. That case was dismissed. And before you get mad about it, understand that back in the 1980s, under pressure from Ned Anderson, who was a former Apache tribal chairman in Arizona, the society produced the skull in question, but after evaluating it, Mr. Anderson said that it did not match that of the records that he had as belonging to Geronimo. So the skull was returned to the society. Allegedly, one bonesman says they still refer to that skull as Geronimo. So Skull and Bones is a relatively small society. It only has an annual membership of 15, and those are all seniors. And it is said that toward the end of one's junior year, 15 juniors, incoming seniors, are tapped to join this society. On tap night, members of Skull and Bones leave the tomb. They go find the one person that they want to tap in. They tap their shoulder and they say, "Skull and Bones, accept or reject." Sounds dramatic. Names are then published in the Yale Rumpus, although this is said to have changed in the 1970s so that it still remains a secret. It's not a secret. People know who was in it. Members meet twice a week. They have dinner. They have discussions. But nobody knows what they talked about. They probably don't know what they ate either. I bet it's good. But yeah, nobody knows what goes on because Fight Club or whatever. Graduate members are called, did I put 2 in? Graduate members are called patriarchs. I should probably focus on this a second. Let's try that again. Graduate members are patriarchs, initiates are knights, and outsiders are barbarians. So one of the rumors is that on initiation night, there is a meeting in room 322, which is also known as the Inner Temple. Many patriarchs attend, one of which becomes the supervisor, known as Uncle Toby. Uncle Toby wears a robe. The shortest senior member wears a satanic costume. One bonesman with a really deep voice wears a Don Quixote costume. Another wears papal vestments. There's another one that dresses up like Elihu Yale. The 4 most buff members are called Shakers. And then there's everybody else running around in skeleton costumes and noisemakers. That sounds like a good time. It is said that Uncle Toby is the most sane one throughout the whole proceeding. So the patriarchs stand outside of the inner temple, which is cleared of all furniture except for 2 chairs and a table. When an initiate enters the room, the patriarchs allegedly yell out, "Who is it?" The name is bellowed out. The patriarchs repeat it back. The Shakers then take the initiate over to the table where the secrecy oath is, and they shout, "Read, read, read." Then they half carry the initiate to a picture of Eulogia, and the bonesmen in there shriek, "Eulogia, Eulogia, Eulogia." He's then dragged over to a picture of a woman they call connubial bliss, which allegedly means sex. And it's said that this goes on for quite some time, with the initiate being kind of bounced around in the room like a pinball. It ends when the initiate kisses the slippered toe of the Pope before being thrown out of the room and into the waiting arms of the patriarchs. No one really knows if this is what happens. It kind of sounds terrifying and maybe a little amusing. Other initiation rumors are that Avril Harriman, the class of 1913, Henry Stimson, class of 1888, and Henry Lucci, who was the class of 1920, each laid naked in a sarcophagus in the middle of the inner temple while they spilled their guts about their sexual exploits as young men to the 14 other members of their initiation class. Potter Stewart is said to have dressed up like a skeleton and yelled at initiates. And McGeorge Bundy allegedly wrestled naked in a mud pit. In a 1968 Yale yearbook, Lanny Davis wrote, quote, "If the society had a good year, this is what the ideal group would consist of: a football captain, a chairman of the Yale Daily News, a conspicuous radical, a whiff and poof, a swimming captain, a notorious drunk with a 94 average, a filmmaker, a political columnist, a religious group leader, a chairman of the lit, a foreigner, a ladies' man with 2 motorcycles, an ex-serviceman, a Negro if there are enough to go around, a guy no one in the group had heard of ever. It's really quite specific of a ladies' man with 2 motorcycles. What happens if he only has 1? Does he not get tapped in? And just so you know, Whiff and Poof, not a house in Harry Potter. That is actually the name of the a cappella singing group at Yale established in 1909. So some famous Skull and Bones members include William Howard Taft, class of 1878. He would serve as the 27th President of the United States and as a Chief Justice for the United States Supreme Court. Walter Camp, class of 1880. He is known as the father of American football after he created the game from watching rugby. He created many of the modern rules that we see in football, such as how points are assessed and the limitation of 11 per team on either side of the ball on the field. He further established the National College Athletic Association. Lyman Spitzer. He was a noted astrophysicist. He came up with the concept and idea behind the Hubble Space Telescope, then lobbied NASA and Congress for money to build the telescope, oversaw the production of it. The Spitzer Space Telescope was named in his honor. Potter Stewart served as a Supreme Court Justice and wrote the dissent in Griswold v. Connecticut in 1965. Which invalidated state law that banned contraceptives. His opinion was that the law was in violation to the right to marital privacy, and many of his opinions did help solidify Fourth Amendment protections. McGeorge Bundy, class of 1940. He was known as one of JFK's wise men, but it is alleged that his older brother got him into Skull and Bones. His older brother actually served as a State Department liaison during the Bay of Pigs invasion. McGeorge would become an advisor to Kennedy, and he heavily impacted the evolution of the Vietnam War. Following his death, officials used his notes to express their regret about a large number of policies that were enacted during that era. George Herbert Walker Bush, class of 1948. He was a pilot in World War II. He was an ambassador to China. He was a director for the CIA. He served as vice president under President Ronald Reagan, and he would become the 41st President of the United States. What are you doing? William F. Buckley Jr., class of 1950. He was outspoken and symbolized the most conservative brand of politics. He was a former CIA officer. He founded the political magazine, The National Review, and he wrote spy novels. He's got it on a microphone stand. This is why he needed to fix it earlier. You realize I heard your duct tape on camera, right? Where was I? John F. Kerry, class of 1966. He would go on to serve as Lieutenant Governor of Massachusetts. He would serve as a senator for Massachusetts. He was the Secretary of State under President Barack Obama. He is currently serving in the Biden administration as the United States Special Presidential Envoy for Climate. What? He made a bid for president in 2004 against George W. Bush. And when a reporter asked him what it meant that two bonesmen were running against each other, Kerry replied, "Not much, because it's a secret." Would have been funnier if he would have said, first rule about Fight Club. George W. Bush, class of 1968. If you haven't noticed, the Bush family, kind of synonymous with this organization. He wrote in his autobiography, quote, "My senior year, I joined Skull and Bones, a secret society, so secret I can't say anything more." He would go on to serve as governor of Texas and 43rd President of the United States. Roy Leslie Austin, class of 1968. He would serve as the ambassador to Trinidad and Tobago under President George W. Bush. Stephen A. Schwarzman, class of 1969. He would become the chairman and CEO of the Blackstone Group. He donated $150 million to Yale from the Schwarzman Center. He briefly served as chairman of Strategic and Policy Forum, which was disbanded in 2017 under President Donald J. Trump. Stephen Mnuchin, class of 1985. He worked for Goldman Sachs for 17 years, becoming its chief information officer. He then started his own hedge fund in 2002, and he would go on to serve as the 77th United States Secretary of the Treasury under President Donald J. Trump. I have to refrigerate this for an hour. We will be back in a while. And we're back. Yay. So, furthermore, William F. Buckley once led a group that sued to block women from getting into Skull and Bones. This was back in 1991. The group did finally allow black men to join in 1965, and the first one was Ord Musgrave Coombs, who would go on to become an author and an editor. But when the class of 91 tapped 7 women for the 92 class, the Russell Trust changed the locks on the tomb. William Buckley got a temporary restraining order against the move. The lawsuit was eventually, it went away, and women were admitted in 1992. These are messy. As stated, this is Yale's most famous and most secret society. And it has helped all kinds of conspiracy theories come around about it. So, some of those theories are that dough is sticking to me. Not really. It's probably Skull and Bones. But some of those theories are Skull and Bones controls the CIA. They're a branch of the Illuminati seeking global government, and this is the secret place where they can meet and plan out their dystopia. Skull and Bones, they put the Manhattan Project into motion. Or this one, they're responsible for the death of JFK. That story is that in 1963, when George H.W. Bush was the president for Zapata Offshore Oil, he would frequently travel from Texas to Miami. And the rumor is that while he was in Miami, he was actually recruiting Cuban nationals to assassinate the president. Yeah, okay. Sure, that's what happened. Did he have a piece of 8? Piece of Eden. Piece of 8. That's a pirate. Arr. Totally different thing. Some of these theories, they get their help from James Jesus Angleton, who was a former bonesman and was the chief of CIA counterintelligence from 1954 to 1975. Here are the cookies. They look pretty good. They smell really good. Not as sweet as some of the stuff that I've made. My mom found the recipe and she posted it, and I thought they sounded good, so I thought I should make them. Because otherwise, all you'd be watching me bake all the time is chocolate chip cookies and French bread. And chocolate chip cookies and French bread. So, what are your thoughts about Skull and Bones? Just a standard secret society on a college campus doing weird secret stuff because it's college? Or the mastermind behind the CIA and the assassination of John F. Kennedy, which I thought was the Illuminati, or the Knights Templar, or the Freemasons, or he faked it for $200 billion to launch the Death Star. I mean, the holographic moon. Anyway, got any weird conspiracies, stories, secret societies you'd like to see me talk about in the future? Got a recipe you'd like to see me make sometime? Leave them all in the comment box below. Until next time, be kind to each other. Be compassionate. Have a great week. Bye.